Good morning, traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis, Monday the 22nd of April. All right, this week quite a bit of data coming out. Just a couple of the highlights as I have a look at my list here. We have Australian CPI data that's due out on Wednesday. We have services and manufacturing PMI coming out from Europe and the UK as well. And the other one to look out for later in the week on Thursday is from the US, and that's the unemployment job numbers, which is due out. So take a look, just got it posted over here. Make sure that you're aware of those, and we'll just get started straight away into our weekly analysis. And this morning, let's kick off with the Aussie US dollar. If you have a look at this particular chart, last week I had drawn in this line over here, and I said, guys, let's see what happens as we approach towards that area. It doesn't mean it's going to be a double bottom or anything like that, because it could shoot straight through and then we end up with a line just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Now, if you look at this particular cluster around here, there is no signal, no evidence that the market was going to be reversing. So therefore we did absolutely nothing and just let the market go straight through that. So now this line means nothing to me. So I'll just delete it. It was simply a marker for me to take note. What I'm looking for, which should be quite obvious now, is I'm still inside of this. Let me just zoom it out so we can see it a bit better. I'm inside this range, this converging triangle. Okay, there you can see it clearer. And we are approaching this region here of interest. So what I want to happen is I want this to come down, give me a really nice reversal pattern, something perhaps like that, and then that's my signal to become a buyer in this particular market. So it is coming towards us. We're not quite there yet, but the trade is starting to take shape and come into play. All right, there you have it, our Aussie US dollar. Let's move along, have a look at the Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD. I drew in this channel, and I particularly drew it there because I was catching that top and that top, and I was also there kind of on this one, and we were approaching this cluster. Now on this cluster right now, I'm looking at it, there wasn't really any evidence that the market was reversing. So I'm just going to have to monitor it for a little bit. And what I might do is I might just make a slight adjustment. Give me 1 second. Let's see what this looks like if I just slightly bring him down. Let me just get rid of, I'm just going to put a support line instead. What I'm trying to catch is this region here. And I'm trying to see if the market may come back down to it again and then give me the opportunity to trade off it. Okay, for now I'm leaving it as it is. It looks like it may have already made that move and kicked on without any let's call it power. What I mean by that is we didn't get the actual signal that it was looking like it was going to reverse, but it did anyway. So look, let's keep that one there, and I'm just going to put a little marker so that I remember next time I look at this chart. Let's see what happens in this region over here. Okay, that's all I got for you on the Euro USD this week. US yen. Okay, now remember I said before, okay, let me zoom out so I can explain it a little bit better. There was history on that line. Okay, we had a level there that went all the way back to 2022. Market came back there again last year in October and shot back down, and it came there again, and for a while it was just meandering, like it was just in a very tight range, not going in one direction or another. Finally, when you get this kind of pattern, if you do get a breakout with a big bullish candle like this, it's usually an indicator that the market has enough strength to continue pushing forward. Let's zoom in and have a closer look at what actually happened. There is that evidence. Okay, that candle there is a very, very strong bullish candle, and then it's kicked on again, and it looks like it's still wanting to go in this direction. Now obviously this trade was for us 2 weeks ago. Okay, so when that happened, we had an opportunity to take it in that direction. And if you did, you might still be in the market and you're following the market with a closer stop behind you to see how far it will go. For now, for us, the only thing that I can see that might interest me is I'm interested in when it finally runs out of steam and pulls back a little bit, and then if it shows me signals on the pullback that it wants to reverse again, then that's the trade that I would be interested in continuation of this trend. But until now, I don't have anything showing for you this week other than we're just waiting for a pullback, and let's see what happens on such pullback if it does happen. Okay, all right, let's move along. GBP USD, okay, this is coming right into my hot zone. Okay, very standard, very straightforward what I'm looking for here. We are very, very close. I want it to pull down a little bit longer, and if I show you with the correct colors, ideally we would get a red candle, move into here, something like that, immediately followed by a blue one as an inside candle looking something like this, and then that's my signal to become a buyer. And what I'm doing is I'm trading off this support line. We know that the support there already, and then the second bit of evidence is that at that support level, it shows me an indication that the market has exhausted and is reversing back up. Okay, that's the trade that I'm looking for. All right, so we're nearly there. Keep an eye on that. It could develop in the next day or two. All right, that was nice and easy. WTI, oil. Let me just push this line up a little bit more. It's not so much, basically here, I'm in a trend, okay, a very clear trend, and that trend is upward. And like you can see that my highs are getting higher, and it's kind of like we're stepping up. And my lows, I'm measuring my lows here, they're also increasing as well. So ideally, if I was to get a reversal out of this cluster here, that would be a signal to become a buyer now. But I don't quite have it. So let's see how today's candle develops. Ideally, it'll push down a little bit lower, and then tomorrow give me the inside candle, and then I'm ready to become the buyer. Okay, so let's just see how this one develops. But this long wick candle on both sides, let me zoom in a bit more so I can highlight him better. I'll just highlight him with my highlighter. This candle there that I've just highlighted has a very little body, very long wick up the top and longish wick down the bottom. It's a candle that signals to us uncertainty. Market's pushed in one direction, but then it's pushed straight back down, pushed in the other direction and pushed straight back up, and almost finishing at the same level where it started. Okay, so it could, like I said, what I want to happen is I would like it to push down a little bit more, not necessarily to this line. I've just got this line randomly in. The type of trade here is more a trade in direction of the trend. So on a pullback, I'm happy to become a buyer, and it doesn't happen to land. It does not have to land on that line. But the reason I want it to drop down a little bit more is so that it can make a new low. Okay, so if it makes a new low, for example, if this one now turns around and becomes a red candle and makes a new low, that low is lower than these ones over here, then if tomorrow we were to get the inside candle like that and we get that sequence there, that's a full reversal signal right for us, and I'll be happy to become a buyer. Okay, so let's see how that particular one plays out for us. All right, final one for the week. Let's have a look at gold. Geez, gold keeps on soaring. It's not showing any, hasn't given us any pullbacks between here, between 2140 and 2380. It has not given us any sort of pullback to give us an opportunity to buy into this particular market. So I'm still waiting for the market to draw back. Once it starts to draw back, show me evidence that we are reversing again, and then become a buyer and I'm buying into the trend. All right, but at the moment it still has not shown that. It's still pretty much very steady in one direction, so nothing we can do on this particular market. All right, so there you have it. That is gold, and that's the wrap for this week. Again, guys, take a look at the data that's coming out this week. Don't forget, Thursday is Anzac Day locally for us in Australia. However, the market is still open and it's a trading day in the Forex world. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll speak to you next week for the weekly market analysis. Bye for now.